SMT Nation, we back. Nation, AT&T just officially launched Internet Air, their 5G home internet, their fixed wireless access, kind of sort of a copper catch, transitioning DSL customers, but I think really what it's about is monetizing the network. You know, selling the excess capacity, the fallow spectrum, capacity and throughput that's produced on a tower that isn't necessarily being used at certain times of the day. We're going to ask the same question we asked about Verizon 5G home internet and their mobile network and T-Mobile 5G home internet and their network. And the concern has always been, will the network pay the price? Will it get congested? Will the adoption of 5G home internet from AT&T cause the network to become congested and slow? Let's take a look at that today, and I'll be looking forward to your commentary in the comment section. But I'll be sure to link this article for you. It'll be in the description. Also in the description, the real SMT Buy Me Coffee link. Want to show your support to your creators? Appreciate all the content here on the channel. Buy us a coffee. There's other ways to support us too. They're down in the description. And if you're looking for ways to save money on your wireless service, sick and tired of expensive wireless plans, the Green Fox can save you money. Mint Mobile. Use our partner link in the description, mintmobile.com/Sneed, and you can save big on your wireless service. The deflation promo pricing still appears to be active. If you use our partner link, you'll get a great deal on the service. Switching is easy. They'll ship you a SIM card super quick, or you can activate on eSIM, which is very convenient and easy to do. All right, so check them out using our partner link. It's in the description. Okay, so I just want to talk about this potential problem that we asked the same questions about Verizon and T-Mobile when they launched their 5G home internet. All right, what's going to happen to the network once AT&T starts to get 5G home internet consumers on their network? So let's talk about the network first. First of all, AT&T's network is generally very modern. You know, they did a lot of work over the last 5 or so years with the FirstNet contract. You know, they put a lot of new spectrum on air. They upgraded a lot of radios and antennas. They built new sites. They densified. They've put in a lot of CRAN. And specifically, even more recently, they've been able to effectively build out their C-band spectrum, including their DoD, to the tune of about 175 million pops, points of presence across the country. Now, that's basically the top 50 markets completely smothered with their 5G plus C-band. And then they're probably going to be working on, pretty much the next 50, right, in kind of phases. AT&T has obviously made it very clear that they're not just going to willy-nilly upgrade sites. They're going to be very strategic to create the capacity as needed. And I think what's going to end up happening here is, I think by selling the fixed wireless access, it's going to incentivize them to upgrade, and keep a decent pace. So I think that's encouraging. Now, with respect to spectrum, AT&T does not have as much as their competitors. Verizon has more spectrum. T-Mobile has more spectrum. But AT&T does not support a lot of fixed wireless access customers currently. Verizon has over 2.5 million subscribers on their 5G home. T-Mobile the same. They're upwards of, I think, maybe 4 million, right? And their goal is to be to 7 to 8 million. Verizon's goal to be to 4 to 5 million. So they've got a lot of, ads that they're looking forward to getting in the future. And now AT&T comes into fray. Now, with respect to their network, AT&T's got 80 megahertz national of the 3700 frequency. They call it C-band, right? And in Dallas, they have 100, just to make sure we be clear about that. And then for the DoD, or the 3450, 3.45 gigahertz, they own 40 megahertz of it national. So, really what they have is about 120 megahertz of dedicated 5G mid-band spectrum across the country. So, what can they do with that type of spectrum? Well, I guess theoretically, at least according to the article from Roger and their calculations there, 2.3 gigabits per second of speed. Now, it's theoretical, so that's best case scenario. And not that they can't do it, but it's unrealistic to expect that at a site, especially when you have mobile data users on the network. But when you test the network on a fully upgraded AT&T site, kind of off-peak, early in the morning, late at night, you see, gigabit speed, when they got a 80 or 100 megahertz channel of C-band. So, there's some potential for them to really create some really good capacity and throughput on these sites, so they can sell that excess capacity, and that's what they plan on doing. All right, now I don't know with respect to like aggregation within the band, because I haven't really been able to test that. I have a Samsung Galaxy S22, I have an iPhone, I have a Pixel, none of which are aggregating both the DoD and the C-band. So that's kind of like remains to be seen with the next generation of iPhone and, you know, devices. We can kind of test that. But folks, I'm not really all that concerned about the network. I think AT&T's got it under control. You know, I always thought that I had some concerns about T-Mobile because they don't own their fiber, and they might be less inclined to pay for a 10 gig fiber circuit. I felt more confident that Verizon would be building to the 5G home internet, right? T-Mobile always said, you know, we're just selling fallow capacity. We're not putting CapEx to our 5G home internet. Verizon is putting CapEx to their 5G home internet, right? So there's a little bit of a difference there, and that's why I didn't have the same reservations about Verizon. Verizon has a ton of small cells. Verizon builds mmWave. They're a fiber owner. That's why I haven't had the concerns about them. I've had a little bit more concern about T-Mobile, but the one thing that T-Mobile does is they give their home internet product bottom tier priority, subject to network management. Very aggressive, right? And, you know, Verizon has created a QCI for the home internet, right? Kind of putting all the 5G ultra-wideband traffic on QCI 7, right? So what is AT&T doing? They're basically doing it like T-Mobile, surprisingly, where they're basically making this QCI 9, you know? So they'll, which in my experience, I've had QCI 9 for AT&T before. It was very good. I didn't have problems, but we'll have to wait and see how it performs for home internet when you start to share all that usage between the mobile user and the home internet user. So right now, if you're asking me if I'm concerned about AT&T home internet, the internet error causing congestion or degrading the mobile network experience for customers on the AT&T network, my concern level, it's kind of like a 4 out of 10. My concern level for, you know, T-Mobile originally was like a 7 or an 8. You know, I think they've handled it decent. Some tower sites, because of their organic mobile growth and the Prio network management, has brought the experience down. So my concern still hangs around a 7 or an 8. I wouldn't go as high as a 9 or a 10. I think they have a lot of spectrum on there and they're doing okay so far. But I do have those concerns. I think for Verizon, my concern about their network being congested is very low. You know, I kind of put it at like a 3. You know, and then for AT&T, I think it's pretty low too. I think they're hanging around that 4 to 5 mark. I don't really have much concern. Their spectrum holdings aren't ideal. I think they need more spectrum, but I think their fiber circuit access, I think, you know, with respect to their data management, you know, I think they're in a slightly better position than T-Mobile to not really have much of a degraded experience for the mobile network user. So if you're an AT&T customer, I would say be cautiously optimistic that your experience shouldn't change much. I don't think you should be too concerned about a congested network. AT&T's network is very modern. They've got a nice swath of spectrum to keep things going and chugging along just fine. And, you know, I think they're going to be okay, you know. And they might add CRAN and they might do some other things and densify that could keep things chugging along nicely. But I ask you all, you know, are you concerned about AT&T now that they're doing fixed wireless access? Do you think that there's a pause for concern that maybe the network starts to degrade for the mobile user and overall the network becomes a little bit more congested than it used to be? Love to hear what you guys have to say on this, and maybe kind of voice your concern if you still have any about T-Mobile and Verizon in the same respect. Interesting conversation. Looking forward to it in the comment section below. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.